Yo, what's up, Cameron?
Going on, man?
Good to put a name to the face. The
Yeah,
guy
you
who's getting all
too,
the
man.
crazy ass deals.
Oh, I'm writing up a crazy one right now. Mm, Chilling. Oh
Oh
shit!
yeah,
You tell the guy to jump through the window at Kentucky,
bro. I was thinking about that. I was like, should I tell him that? I don't know. He sounds pretty old. I don't know. I don't think he could make it.
right? Yeah,
That's
whatever.
an option.
I would do it.
Yeah, right now I do it. 20 years from now, I don't know if I do it. Maybe get like my son, be like, yeah, go in there, take some pictures, come back out.
Right. Save. I hate DocuSign, bro. I hate
Yep.
it. So
Luckily, Bryce has to handle all that.
yeah, usually my Bryce has to handle all that, but he's been gone for like a month.
Oh no. It's on vacation.
Yeah, he'll be back. I gotta buy the new option, dude. Dude, the Naples lady's being so annoying about the EMD. It's unreal. She like
Why
lied.
would she want it removed from Investor Lift?
Oh my god. And we didn't put an EMD. I convinced her that if we put an EMD on Monday, that I could put it back up. She was like, it's fine. I was like, okay. So just gotta wait. So annoying.
Some agents are a pain.
Yo, what's up, everyone? It looks like we still have some people joining, and your boy is not the smartest, so I have to manually accept everyone who's requesting to join in the waiting room. So I'm gonna give it about 3 to 5 minutes. If you guys just want to converse, chop it up in the chat. We'll get started in a few minutes.
Let's go. Nice. Oh my God, Vivian's in here. I swear I just saw her yesterday. It's crazy.
Star Matthew. Sir.
What's going on, my guy? How we doing?
What up? Writing that up. Mm. Canada. You have a busy day, Matt? Always?
By the grace of God, man, I'm grateful for the problems I've got, brother. Grateful for the problems I've got. Yeah, busy, but all good things. All good things. Now I get to wind down. I'm gonna hang out with you guys, and then I host my team's Bible study in the evening. So I'm gonna be doing that, and then I'm gonna hit the gym. Good day to have a good day.
Yim. Nice.
Oh, hell yeah.
By the way, if anybody's interested in joining our Bible studies, we do them weekly on Thursdays. We're going through the Gospel of Matthew. Today's going to be chapter 28, so we're finishing up actually. Come on, big problems, big solutions. I like that. Got you, brother. I'm gonna drop that in the chat. Men's only. Oh my word. I wish I could be that exclusive. No, anybody and everybody's welcome. It's just usually my acquisitions team, folks that are on my team. So it's not a really big group, but it's been really fruitful. You know, a lot of folks on my team, they have very different experiences, you know, in the faith and, you know, trauma from the church and stuff like that. And so it's been really cool to get to know people on my team so much more personally and, you know, hear their stories. So you're absolutely welcome to join. Would love it. They're usually on Thursdays at 5:30. But this week they're gonna be today. Mortgage is in the Google Doc at the Thank you, Miss Stephanie. I appreciate that. That's really sweet.
I'm writing up that 15 unit, Matt.
There we go. Yeah, man, it's an interesting one. I mean, it's got upside for sure. It's just, you know, 3 years is pretty tight. But it's workable, brother. It's workable. It's definitely worth collaborating with the seller on getting that deal done, man.
I think you're right about the appraisal.
I don't like being a Debbie Downer on deals, but I've been disappointed before, bro. So it's better to, you know that kind of stuff up front.
The flow's there. The flow's there. We'll see.
Yes, sir.
I got it lower too. I got it 40.
Man, we're getting a ton of people in the Zoom. I keep trying to start it, but then I see like 2 people register and I get their emails and I see them shortly in the waiting room. So we'll give it a couple more minutes and then I promise we'll start, guys. What's up, Trenton? Good to see you, man. Who else we got all in here? Cameron, Alan, what's up?
Yo, Jonathan, is that a green screen or is it just a beautiful day outside for you? I
You're
can't.
muted. You're
Yeah, you're
muted.
muted. I can't hear you.
No, it's a green screen.
Oh, damn. I was like, damn, what a blue sky.
Yeah, it's nice
Yeah,
in
right.
California, not that nice.
Oh, damn.
Yo, what's up, Tony? I did not expect to see you in here, man. Long time no chat.
What up, dog?
It's been a minute, man.
I just popped up on my phone. I'm like, I gotta hop in here, see what's going on.
Dude, let's go. How's life been living?
Good, man. Good. We're closing on our first short-term rental actually in New Hampshire next week.
Oh, heck yeah, congrats. I met Tony over at HostCon. It was HostCon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, had a blast over there.
Yeah, dude, that was a good time.
Dude, you know, it's funny enough, we actually got those tickets for free. I think we told you. But guys, this is the power of networking, and it's the reason why I'm starting the Zoom tonight. My girl Vivian, actually, she's in sub 2 as well. She networked with some random dude in sub 2. We got 2 free tickets to HostCon, went completely free, and then got to meet gangsters like Tony and everyone else over there. So super crazy what you can get just from having random conversations with people in sub 2. So
My like third sub 2 deal I sold in my life was the reason why I ended up going to Squad Up. My buyer on that deal gave me her ticket for free because she could. That ticket ended up leading to me having a business partner at Squad Up Summit and got me into the owners club. Literally insane. Power of
Dang.
networking. Yeah, man.
Network equals net worth. That's
Amen.
true.
Amen.
one more minute. We got 37 people in here so far, and I think that the trickles are coming slower now.
Jonathan, are you going?
Jonathan, you're muted.
No, not this year. I'm not gonna go. Unfortunately, I got too much stuff going on. Yeah, so I think Bryce asked me that too, and I'm like, I'm getting a lot of FOMO just hearing about it.
Yeah, we all want to see you, bro.
All right. Giancarlo, Ella, y'all there still? Claudio, y'all there? Just checking.
Yep.
Love it.
Up, Ella.
Oh,
You're gonna
Ella, you are
TC
low.
climbing Mount Everest? What?
You don't get that, Josh?
No, not at all. Am I dumb or is that real?
We'll just let you cook in it. We'll let you marinate. We'll figure it out.
Okay, no, I'm gonna ask you later, bro.
Overcoming obstacles, conquering
Oh.
problems.
Mount Everest is light work.
No, literally my TC is climbing Mount Everest. So I was passed on to her husband who's in town. Sorry about that.
Well. Looks like I'm not so dumb after all.
Oh, I'm the dumb one. I'll take fault on that, honestly.
Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate that.
And my rainmaker's from Kyrgyzstan, currently living in Illinois. So it's just been a crazy, crazy day. I just cannot make this stuff up.
I can't imagine the time difference.
We got 8 hours from Egypt, bro. They're working till 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
the
they're
real
going crazy.
gangsters.
Sometimes they don't sleep, I feel like.
That, bro, they don't.
All right, y'all, we're going to get into it. I'm going to be consciously looking to my left to see if there's anyone just twiddling their thumbs in the waiting room, so I'm not being super mean to them. But I appreciate everyone showing up today. Today, we're really just going to be going over a peek into my life, which is also a peek into others' lives. You know, we have a few of the people that I shouted out on that post, and that's the cool thing about real estate. I think a lot of people, they typically think there is a linear path to doing things. You know, you mine the gold and you get the gold, but who tells you about who to buy the pickaxes from? What shovel is the best, right? Who on your team is helping you mine the gold? What conversations are you having to gain more opportunities? And at the end of the day, I actually don't do any lead generation, believe it or not. I don't go direct to seller. I don't go direct to agent. I just have conversations and agents and sellers end up coming to me. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing today, is just going over some examples. Brief overview of the Zoom is just going over not only the deals we've closed, but different ways of finding these deals, how to strategically network for deals. You guys may have heard Josh say earlier, your network is your net worth, but that really doesn't mean anything if you don't know how to network. I can't tell you how many people I go to a meetup with and they hand me a business card, they say what they do, and that's it. I throw that business card in the trash. You tell me what you do, but like, you didn't figure out what I may need, right? So we're gonna dive into that. That's something that I specialize in, and that's how 100% of my deals kind of come about and how all of my relationships are built. And then at the end, we'll kind of go over partnership opportunities. Let me go check the waiting room. Let Brittany in. We'll have a few different ways that we can collaborate and do some deals. I'm all about finding new ways of making money, bringing it to you guys, and trying to figure out how everyone can make money together. So let's go ahead and move on. I want to go to the first deal right here. Talk about your shirt you wore at host camp. This one? The
Dude,
one I'm wearing right now?
so good. That I've never seen anybody do that, and I was like, that stuck with me, man. I'm like, that is
Watch this,
genius.
y'all. Watch this. If it gets hot, you know, I got another one underneath.
No way.
So always be providing value. Kathleen, what's up? I see your hands raised.
Who needs a
I have,
business card when
yeah,
it's on your
I
shirt?
have looked, I've gone through all the avatars, and I think I'm just really not sure what I am, because I'll just do what you ask me to do. There are things that I like better than others, but I'm one of these people, okay, do you get on the phones, Kathleen? Okay, I'll get on the phones. Or, you teach me how to do something, I'll do it. It's just more of, I'm not really sure. And to hand out a business card with that stuff on it, or even make a blink card, I'm a little lost. So
Yeah, and that's exactly what I want to get into, because you really don't even need to know how to do anything in order to provide value. The more work you kind of put in to just daily stuff, the more people you're going to meet. There's a book I haven't read, but I get the general concept is, I forget who writes it. So if someone knows, please let me know. But I believe the book is called Who Not How. And the majority of opportunities I've taken advantage of has been because I've known someone who can help me achieve what I need instead of just trying to figure out what to do. So like I said in the beginning, I don't do any active lead generation. The reason why I wanted to bring on all of these people to highlight the stories is so that way you'll get a better understanding of different perspectives of different people. Giancarlo specializes in foreclosures. Matthew is a king closer, right? Ella is a transaction coordinator, and I just somehow try to bundle them all together and make money, right? So there's a lot of different ways that you can make money. And if you don't know what to do right now, hopefully some of the perspectives that Giancarlo, Josh, Matthew sheds tonight will help imprint on you. It took me a year and a half to figure out that I want to do disposition and play a connector role. For the first year and a half, I was doing acquisition, not really enjoying it. I still do acquisition, but it's more in an organic format now. So we'll go ahead and go over that. Let me invite some of these people in. Yeah, if you guys can turn your cameras on, that would definitely help with engagement. We want to see all your faces for sure. If you guys don't have your camera on, I probably will not engage as much with you. For this first one, I want to go over this deal right here, because this is a deal all 40 of you could have done yourself without knowing anything about real estate or really having to know how to close a deal. This was a deal Giancarlo actually found. I think I want to let Giancarlo tell this story because, like I said before, I don't do lead generation. I didn't produce this lead. I didn't really do anything. So, Giancarlo, if you want to go ahead and unmute your mic and take over, I'll
Yeah.
give the floor to you.
How's it going, guys? Everyone can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Cool. So yeah, thanks for having me here, Bryce, and to all attending. Bryce is very good when it comes to basically the theme of this, what we're here presenting today. So I'm sure everyone will get some kind of jewel, some kind of pearl they could take home with them. Now with this deal in particular, I think this might even help Kathleen, who just asked a question about, not knowing where she sits. But with this deal, basically, as you all know, if you don't know, Bryce does disposition, right? He finds end buyers for wholesale contracts, right? That need to be sold. So Bryce told me, hey, you know anybody trying to sell their deal, let me know. I was like, that's it? Like, yeah, that's it. Like, all right. So here's the form. He gave me a little, form link. It's like, just have them fill out this form. I said, all right, that's it. He's like, yeah, that's it, man. That's all I need from you. All right, cool. So, you see a lot of people looking for buyers for their deals. There's a huge demand for buyers, right? For wholesale deals. Some never get assigned, but Bryce has a whole system and team in place. So when he gave this to me, I felt like it was too easy. But basically, what happened is, and it's funny because I don't even remember the details of this deal. Like I can't even tell you. I can't tell you anything about
I
the
got
deal.
you.
No, as far as that, but that's how passive it was. I started posting on Facebook, hey, if anybody needs help finding, assigning their deals, just let me know, DM me. And just as simple as putting posts on Facebook, I had people messaging me saying, hey, I desperately need buyers for my deal. These were wholesalers, or sometimes they knew a wholesaler, they knew someone else. Like, hey, I need help selling my deal. I can't find a buyer. I only have, 3 weeks left, 2 weeks left, whatever. So obviously being integrated in the sub-2 community, this deal is a sub-2 deal, as you see there. Low equity, seller owes 288. So this is a turnkey sub-2 deal. And so what happened is that I had people messaging me and I just had them basically fill out the form Bryce told me to have them fill out.
Hey, Giancarlo, can everyone see the screen still? Is the slideshow still showing for everyone okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. You can continue. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. So guys, I had these wholesalers who needed to desperately sell their deals. I had them just fill out a form, and once they filled out the form, Bryce took over it, and he started basically uh, finding buyers for them with him and his team. And he was even telling me before the presentation, don't be too simple, because honestly, it was as simple as that. Now, I mainly deal with foreclosures, and I think to like help Kathleen and everybody here, there's usually two parts to a successful deal. You have like the pitcher, like the guy throwing the ball, and then you have the batter, right? In this case, I was the pitcher. I was just throwing him the ball. He was doing all the leg work and all the end work. He was the one hitting the home run with it. So, going to Kathleen, if you don't know what to do, I mean, you said something that struck me. You said, I refer people to others, but I don't know what to do. It sounds like maybe you're a pitcher. Maybe you're someone who needs to just throw the ball to batters. Bryce is a batter with disposition. I'm a batter with foreclosures, right? We had there's this Japanese sub 2 member named Shino in the group, and all she does is door knock. The woman, I love her. We're good buddies now. She's 5 feet tall, skinny, Japanese woman with broken English, right? You would think that she has no business being in your door, but the girl door knocks more than anybody I know. She door knocks 20 doors a day. She is a beast.
I
The
met
last
her.
person you'd expect.
I met her either this morning or the morning before. She's really nice. I like her.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, she's amazing. I love Shino. She's amazing. So this
And-
woman
and-
door knocks.
Yeah. And I do know the end thing that I want to do, but I believe you have to put your own oxygen mask on before you can help others. And my whole view is in helping others. So
Absolutely. No, you're
why.
absolutely right.
The funny
So-
thing about this is Giancarlo was so far removed from the deal, he doesn't even realize he connected me with the actual seller. He still thinks this was a wholesaler he connected me with. That is hilarious, y'all.
There we go. Yeah. If any of you guys here today are need a batter for disposition, you need that end person who's all you have is maybe wholesalers connections from the group, people who are wholesalers that need to sell their deal. Bryce's, I mean, it's a white glove service. I know a bunch of dispo people, but Bryce's disposition team is pretty white glove service. Like, I just had them fill out the form. He said, I got it. I got the submission. And then I don't even remember anything else from there. So I was like, honestly, it's pretty ABC 1, 2, 3.
And guys, this
So-
doesn't even have to be, I know I appreciate Giancarlo shouting me out a lot, but I want you guys to be more familiar with the idea and concept of leveraging someone else's business in order to bring them more business to give you business. It doesn't have to be disposition. I'm sure Ella throws kickbacks for people who give her TC leads, right? So don't just think of disposition, think who, not how. Who do you know that has a functional business that provides a ton of value? The more people you know that provide value, the more freaking value you provide without knowing it. That's the only way people end up providing value to begin with. They meet someone else, they learn something, they figure something out, and then they refer them or connect them to someone else. That's how real estate works. You get connected to a title company that does a good job. You need help with the closer, I connect you to a good closer, right? You need help with sub 2 insurance, there's people out there who provide that. So the more contacts you have, the more value you can provide without even knowing it. Exactly, Chris. Collaboration over competition. All of us in here are wholesalers, and we're in a Zoom right now collaborating. That's what it's all about. So now on this deal right here, it was a very, very quick deal. Giancarlo spoke to a seller. The seller filled out the form. The form comes in. I'm like, oh, this is odd. I don't usually get sellers filling out my dispo form. So Giancarlo must have done such a good job pitching this ball. It kind of just batted itself for me, right? The guy knew exactly what I was doing. He's actually in sub 2 as well. And he had just circumstances changed. He needed a way out of this sub 2 deal. And we actually were able to find an end buyer within 1 or 2 days. I believe his name was Raj. And this was the craziest deal. I've never had this happen before, but our assignment fee was actually 5.5K on this. And the buyer wired that to me as earnest money outside of escrow and closed outside of title. He didn't even care to do a title search. We closed this in probably like 10 or 14 days, and we were paid directly up front from the moment he uploaded EMD. So this was a strange deal, but this would have never happened if Giancarlo was not on Facebook actually trying to actively look for people to refer over and connect. So definitely want to highlight this one because Giancarlo probably spent a matter of 2 minutes on it. We spent 24, 48 hours on it, and then it took 10 days to close out. 5.5K that probably would not have been there if I did not, or if Giancarlo wasn't scrolling on Facebook that day, right? Maybe he was eating lunch, eating breakfast, on a ride home, and it's just a simple 1-2 step on Facebook. So really like that story. Yo, what's up, Ty? Yeah, I don't have a deal in here, but I'm glad you're in here because we're able to bring you up and chop it up about some of the deals we recently closed. Now, for the next one, I'm going to have Jonathan and Claudio take this over. Appreciate you, Giancarlo. Let me get you out of the spotlight. How do I do that? Get out of here. Get out of here. All right, we're going to bring Jonathan up first. Jonathan, well, actually, Jonathan, Claudio, which one of you had the first contact on the deal? Who speaks first on this?
Yeah, so I know me and Claudio tag team a lot. I know Claudio is focuses heavily on acquisition, such as myself. But I had first contact with this specific deal. You know, I do a lot of direct to agent, and then I do a lot of direct to seller. So yeah, this was a pretty slam dunk deal. With the agent, I think it was one of those type of deals, right? It was obviously it was low equity. You know, the seller was making payments on 2 mortgages. It's been vacant for a long time and just didn't want to be landlords at this point. So it was a good rate, and it was a good opportunity for another investor to, you know, scoop it up and you know, make whatever out of it. I think it I don't remember if this one specifically, I think it cash flow a little bit. So I think it was a good deal.
Yeah,
overall.
this one right here. Claudio, do you have any insight you want to pour onto this? I know you handle some of the back end things and whatnot, and let me put you in the spotlight real quick. Where are you at?
Yeah, right here, man. How's it going, everybody?
Dang, Claudio looks good. I don't think I've ever seen him on FaceTime before. Oh, snap. Let me spotlight him. Dang.
Hey, this guy's a
Screw it up for
professional.
Claudio.
Jeez. Yeah, I guess this one here, I mean, there's the funniest thing, right? There's so many deals being had. We're barely even remembering the details. And it's crazy to say that because, again, I think it's fair to say we all know all the details as far as the deals go, right? They're very memorable. But these are going so fast off the shelf that even, you know, I think it's interesting that me, Jonathan, you, all of us who are like, oh, yeah, what happened with that seller, right? Because it's so quick. When you know the right people, the deals move and you go on to the next thing. So that's really important. But on this one here, Jonathan, we're pretty much you sent me the lead, right? And then you weren't sure if the rate was going to be good. I don't know if this is the one that we sold, right? I'm pretty sure.
This is a different one, bro.
Was it a different one then?
Yeah, the other one was in Fort Worth. I think this one's in Fort Worth.
The other one was
too.
the other Fort Worth. The other one was Greenview. That's
Yeah,
what
I
it is.
do remember Green. That was a long time ago.
Yeah,
This one was more
Greenview.
recent, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
got it.
That was another one. That's how I kind of met. I connected with Bryce through Giancarlo. Giancarlo reached out to me and was like, "Hey, you know, you need to sell a deal. I see you got a deal." And I'm like, "Yeah, bro, let's connect." So, you know, Giancarlo kind of put me into place with him, and the rest was history. So it was really helped me there.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right, guys? Like for us, me and Jonathan, we're working a lot of acquisitions, but for Jonathan, he doesn't always know the different markets that we're all in, right? And so for us being able to collaborate, we're able to kind of get some feedback on this one and see where the numbers had to be. I mean, again, the last thing you want to do is commit to the sellers, and then next thing you know, you can't close it, right? So that's really important that we have a solid disposition process in place. And again, I pretty much connected with you, Bryce, and it's been great working with you. So again, we definitely want to do some more business together because it was so smooth. And again, it's almost like I wish I could sell all the deals to you. You know, I wish I could send them all, but some of these deals do sell themselves. But at the end of the day, right, being able to know where you can sell a deal is really important for me as an acquisition guy. I'm trying to understand where's my back end buyer at, and so you know, working with you, you're going to be able to kind of give me that scoop, and just knowing that, hey, last time we put out this deal, it sold like hotcakes. That tells me that next time I look at a 3.5%, right? That looks like this, where the PITIs are on that time frame, or the neighborhood that it looks like it's in. You know, these deals all look the same, but there's multiple different types of deals. So I think if you can recognize these different buy boxes, like this one here, it looks like a perfect rental, right? It looks like there's a driveway. Doesn't look maybe like the nicest, prettiest house, but it looks like it's fully functional. Be perfect for a rental. 15K entry, that's fairly low, and that's including the assignment, right? So again, I think we're just here to create a win-win situation for the buyers. So networking with the buyers is going to be really instrumental. But at the end of the day, they're looking for deals, right? So it's just about putting both parties together and making it happen. And again, I'm sure that buyer will be interested in buying more deals, right? Next time he's able to, and he's ready to purchase more.
Yeah,
No,
and
I
something I
love
was
that
just
insight. Go ahead. Wait, go ahead, Jonathan.
Yeah, no, I was just going to add to kind of piggyback off what Claudio had said. Yeah, so I only focus on acquisitions, right? I don't focus on, I don't spend my time trying to sell deals. I've tried to sell my own deals in the past, and I kind of got a little behind when it came to making phone calls, touching with sellers, and having other conversations for other deals. So when I do focus on dispositions, I don't have a system in place within my business to focus heavily and have the systems in place. So if I can leverage Bryce and his team to go ahead and do that for me, it relieves a lot of the heavy lifting for me. So it definitely helps a lot of the process. Even if it is sharing some of the deal, I'd rather collaborate, get the deal done. The agent's happy, the sellers, the investors happy. So it's just a win-win altogether. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Can y'all provide some insight on what your acquisition looks like? Real quick, actually, before we do that, I actually forgot something I wanted to ask Giancarlo. Where are you at? Come back here. Get over here. Giancarlo, do you do wholesale?
No,
You don't do any kind of lead generation?
no, not really.
How much money did we make together last year? Because I still did not believe you. And this number baffles me because, like I said, or like Giancarlo said, he does not wholesale, guys. He literally just talks to people. How much did you make? Just you.
I mean, I think I did just with Bryce, probably like around 30K last year.
Like both of us? Just you or both of us?
No, that was 30. Yeah, it was me and you. So
So
30 each. Yep.
that's not even like you don't do any kind of lead generation. You're just talking to people, making that kind of money. Guys, my whole point is you can do that outside of Dispo. You can do that with so many other things in business. It's just in this community, wholesaling is the main thing that's sexy to individuals. Now I'm gonna bring Jonathan back up here, replace the spotlight. With this right here, Jonathan, your method of making money is entirely different. Giancarlo is just talking to
Yeah.
people, connecting the dots. How are you and Claudio bringing out these leads? What is your system? Are you doing direct to agent, direct to seller? What's going on?
Yeah, I do both. I'm starting to leverage away from direct to agent, and starting to focus a lot more on foreclosures, off market with my virtual assistant. We're doing a lot of cold calling, SMS. Eventually start implementing direct mail. We're just not there. Yeah. So as far as the agent side, we are doing a lot of direct to agent. A lot of the relationships that I have with agents are repeated. Some of them are repeated business, right? I've been running a system. I started by myself in the system, kind of did everything, marketed, followed up, cold call, closed it. But you can only imagine how many deals I did in a year doing that by myself as a one-man team. Once I started shifting my focus on to like, hey, I need to collaborate with more people. I need to get with people who are more knowledgeable, if not on a solid foundation, and then just want to make money, right? And create good partnerships. So I did reach out to Claudio. I connected with him. I kind of, learned about his background in the acquisition. So he's a little more steps ahead of me as far as the acquisition side. So I thought it'd be a good time to collaborate and kind of go from there, direct to agent. So, I do collaborate with a lot of newer students as well in sub two, people that are hungry to make money, right? They want to jump on the phones, have quality conversations, and we can all have the opportunity to make money together. So I don't ever think there's a scarcity of deals. There's just a scarcity of callers sometimes. So at the end of the day, I've worked with a lot of disposition teams, handfuls of disposition teams in the past. And I think one thing that really sticks out with me is transparency, right? The communication. I think acquisitions is a long game, right? Sometimes you could be following up with the seller and agent for years at a time before you even contract or get a signature. So once you have done a lot of the heavy lifting, now your expectations or hopes is to get this deal to the finish line, because a signed signature doesn't mean anything if you can't sell it. So it's just a piece of paper, in other words. So that's where I think that's exactly how I met Ella, was one through another disposition person in our community. You know, Nalia has helped me as well, and she's a great dispo, but you know, I connected with Ella. That's how I met Ella. So I've heard a lot about Ella too. She's just a powerhouse on a lot of different, not just TC, that's for sure. I always thought she was focused heavily on TC until I met her. I was highly wrong in that aspect. So it was great to just build a lot of relationships, in other words. But yeah, in other words, like I wanted the disposition side to be transparent. I wanted to not just make money with somebody. I wanted to build a relationship with somebody where I can lean on them. We can talk about deals. And I know we've gone over a lot of deals in the past too, Bryce, where I'm like, hey, I got this deal. It looks good. You know, what do you think about that? You know, we're starting to go into like a Florida market. And we've been focused heavily on Texas, but I think a lot of the Florida markets areas that I'm unsure about, I like to get insights from other individuals who know that a lot better than me. So
Who not how?
yeah, man.
I'm gonna keep saying that this whole freaking Zoom. I want to bring Claudio back up here to end it out one last time. But the coolest thing about that was the reason I met Jonathan was because Jonathan met an agent, connected with them, formulated a deal, connected with Claudio, connected with Giancarlo, connected with me, connected with my team, connected to a buyer. It's literally just conversations we're having. But to bring Claudio back up here to finish this out, I'm curious, Claudio, what is it that you guys could be looking for right now? How can people make money with you guys? And is there anything, any kind of advice you would just have for anyone maybe trying to take a step in the path you guys are currently crushing it on?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for saying that, Bryce, and thanks for adding in as well, Jonathan. I think you're absolutely right. You know, for me, I think the biggest thing for the dispo side, Bryce, is really, you know, leaning on your feedback that you're getting from your buyers and the deals that you're selling. So for me, you know, sometimes we're not sure where to acquire a deal because we don't know if the buyer's going to be there. So, you know, as far as our business model is, again, it's acquisitions, right? We don't try to play in both valleys. I mean, I can post a deal, that's about it, right? But what about taking the calls? That's going to take me away from my acquisitions. And so I think it's just about a focus, right? You have to kind of figure out what's your best skill or where it's best utilized, let's say. Again, it's kind of the same. It's sales, but dealing with buyers, dealing with sellers, it's a little bit different, right? So for us, I think, you know, again, our model is just focused on acquisition. So if you have a lead, you know, you have a motivated seller, you have a deal that's like, hey, they may be open to creative or maybe a cash offer if it needs a lot of work. You know, we can do fix and flip. We can do, you know, a creative deal for buy and hold. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we're just looking for assignments, right? So I think it's just that understanding your business model. How do you get paid? If you're a realtor, you're trying to make commissions. If you're a TC, you want TC files, so you need investors to network with, right? I think we're acquisition buyers, so we're looking for homeowners to network with. The problem when you call a seller, they're motivated, right? You solve their problem. That's it. They go on about their life. But with agents, which is what Jonathan and I have been focusing on, is leveraging AI, leveraging automations, leveraging emails, LOI Blaster, all these different tools to, you know, again, network with people that we know are going to answer the phone, which are agents all day long. They're going to answer 8 out of 10 phone calls, even if it may seem not like it. It really is true. They do answer the phone a lot more than a motivated seller. So I think, again, for us, it's just about finding the motivated sellers and putting them on the contract. But at the end of the day, unless I have that feedback on the back end of what it's going to sell for, that's really going to determine my exit of being able to, you know, being all in at 10K so I can be all out at 15K. And is it going to make sense for me to make 5K and then split it between Bryce and our team, right? So it does have to kind of make sense. But again, when you have the best buyers, you can sell the deals for the most. And again, for us, we don't have to spend time trying to sell a deal and then the deal is not selling because we don't have enough buyers, right? So we just focus on what we're good at. We let Bryce do what he does good at, and I don't have to be too keen on the process. I just give it to him and I can lean on him.
Definitely connect with Claudio and Jonathan, guys. Any questions you guys have about having conversations, overcoming objections, definitely lean on them. Talk to them, add them on Instagram, add them on Facebook, see if they're on OnlyFans. Just kidding, don't do that. We're gonna go ahead and go to the next slide now. Speaking of OnlyFans, this guy may have one. Let's cover this assignment fee before we hop next to Mr. Matthew. On this one was actually a pretty sick one. It was a 20K entry and we assigned it for 10.2K on top of that. So you have these deals out there, guys. They're very prominent. I think Jonathan or Claudio said this deal wasn't very cute. I think it's gorgeous. It was actually turnkey, matter of fact. So most of the deals that Claudio and Jonathan are locking up are turnkey new builds. If they're not new builds, they're recently rehabbed. And these deals are all out there. They're not selling, like Pace says, you guys have learned low equity is a big issue. Learn to capitalize on those conversations so that way you're the person who gets the deal. Let's go ahead and take it over to Matthew over here. Look, this is a pretty picture. This was my favorite picture when I was making this slide today, by the way. So I'm going to go ahead and give it up to you, Matthew. Let me give you the spotlight right here. And boom, take over, man.
Sweet. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to be here, Bryce. Really appreciate your hospitality. It's awesome to see the kind of community that you're cultivating. And guys, you guys are in the right place. Bryce is a badass entrepreneur and he's dropping bombs. I hope you guys are taking notes. I have been. What I can say is this much. I joined real estate 4 years ago. I got in. And my first year in real estate, I lost 120 grand. I was direct to seller. I was paying for Google ads, Facebook ads. I had 7 virtual assistants working for me. I was head first, y'all. I got my ass kicked. I had no clue what I was doing. I wasn't sales trained like Jonathan and Claudio, and I lost my butt, man. I thought that, if I just pour money on it, it'll go. And I learned really quickly that wasn't the case. Fast forward, I joined Sub 2 in December of 2022, and my entire life changed. The who, not how mentality, I fully went headfirst in, and I believed in it wholeheartedly, and it changed everything for me. It led to me working with a lot of investors who are first-time investors and maybe weren't as experienced. And that compounded, and that compounded, and I started doing low equity deals, which is the one that we're going to talk about here on Killington. Doing low equity deals is awesome. And if you guys are not experienced with working with sellers, I highly advise the agent outreach model. First, you're not going to have to spend any money. You don't have to pay for marketing dollars. You don't have to lose 120 grand like I did. You talk to realtors. And the best part about that is you're going to get so used to the language of real estate, which is something that I wasn't familiar with at the time. It will accelerate your growth curve tenfold. And I can say confidently that that was the game changer for me. When I decided it's not about pouring money, but it's about meeting incredible people like Bryce and Ella and collaborating with them. Fast forward a little bit down the line, guys, I had the opportunity to teach for Pace. I taught the course on low equity property acquisitions. And so if you have any questions on low equity specifically, this is my niche, man. I go head first into it. And my team, all we do is do agent outreach. This deal specifically in Clarksville, the agent is a good friend of mine to the extent that she invited me literally to her house to hang out. So don't just get on the phone to be transactional. Seek relationships. Bryce and I right now are in escrow on a Morby method from a deal that we originally did together in July. The agent reached out to me and said, "Hey, Matt, I've got this seller. Can you help?" I didn't have to do any funny sales tactics. I just talked to her as a friend, and we ended up structuring a deal where there's going to be a $40,000 assignment fee on the back end of it. So there's such power in doing agent outreach and doing it with the intention of making friends. So I'm grateful to have the opportunity to talk about this deal. Unlike the other guys, I guess I don't do enough volume because I do remember the seller situation. In fact, I remember his name. I tell a lot of third-party stories when I'm on the phone with sellers, and this is one that I tell really often. The seller, his name was Gene. Gene had family that was sick, and Gene needed to sell this property in Clarksville to move to Illinois. When I first got on the phone with Jen, the realtor on this transaction, they didn't think that sub 2 was possible. I got on the phone. They're like, "Is this a sub 2 call?" Bah. What did I do? I called her back and I was like, "Hey, did we just get disconnected?" Right? So I had fun with it. I ended up moving forward with that transaction in a way where the seller, Gene, was able to qualify for a loan for a new construction home in Illinois while selling to a sub 2. Objections are nothing but opportunities for us to collaborate. I tell my team all the time, when they tell you no, that's the time where you figure out what's stopping us from moving forward. So go for no, not yet. Claudio, amen to that. That's how I know my guy's on the phone all day, because that is absolutely the truth. And specifically with this deal, that's really what it was. The seller wasn't worried about subject to. He was worried about, I won't be able to buy a new home so that I can live with where my family needs me. And so the objection was never, I don't like sub 2. The objection was, I'm not able to get to where I need to be. And once we were able to create that bridge, we were able to structure an awesome deal. This deal specifically was in a market that I hadn't done business in before. And because I trusted Bryce's team and his dispositions agents, I had the opportunity to reach out to him, and within days, they sold the deal that I was going to sell for probably half the value for more than I would have considered. And so I'm so grateful for the opportunity to work with Bryce and his team. Specifically for us, we target all low equity. So these are over leveraged homes. So often a deal that is an okay deal is hard for me to sell. But you go to someone like Bryce with the team that he has behind him, where they specialize just in this, and it's game changing. And I can say very confidently that I'm grateful for it. My advice for all of you folks that are kind of like, oh, I don't know what to do, fail forward faster. Go fuck some shit up. The worst thing that can happen is you're going to create a dynamic that you're not ready for, and you now have a Zoom of 41 people that are willing to extend an arm. And there's people like Bryce, like myself, like Claudio, like Giancarlo that are willing to help out. So I hope that you guys take that as a serious offer because we're here for it. Over the last 10 months, I've helped 15 people get their first sub 2 deal, and it all came from low equity acquisitions. It didn't cost them a dime. It didn't cost me anything, man. Specifically this deal, I mean, you guys can see the numbers, sweet deal. Agent got paid. Seller got the money he needed to move. And we ended up getting an assignment fee of about 10 grand on the deal. So it was an awesome opportunity. Didn't cost me $1. I didn't have to lose 120 grand to get in front of it. And I made some friends along the way that are going to be lifelong for me.
Let's run it. I love that. I love that. Matthew, how can people make money with you? How can they connect with you, man?
Well, reach out to me. Reach out to me. All of us have different skills. And depending on Kathleen, for example, you said, I'm willing to do all the things. And as much as I'm appreciative of that kind of mindset, the end all be all is there's things that you enjoy to do. And the things you enjoy to do are going to be the things you'll do more consistently. And real estate is not going to be about I feel it today, I don't feel it today. It's the things that we can be disciplined in. And so if you don't enjoy being on the phones, don't reach out to Matt and say, hey, Matt, I want to be on your team to cold call. But Matt has a number of ways where you can collaborate with him. And I know I'm talking in the third person, but I'm just being real. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, do what you enjoy. And what you enjoy will create income opportunities for you because we're in such a diverse environment. There's opportunities to lend. There's opportunities to help us with dispositions. My company specifically, we're super focused on helping families who are in the cycle of rent get out of it by providing them homestead financing. And so if you have a deal that you're struggling to move, reach out to me and my team, and we can help put a homestead buyer, a family, into the property that you've been struggling to sell. Right? So there's so much that we can do together. So it's a matter of reaching out. On Zoom, you guys have my direct cell phone number. Feel free to take that down and reach out to me with questions, concerns, or feelings. I'll put my Instagram in the side chat. Feel free to add me on there. And anything that Bryce is too busy and he's making too much money to not be able to help out on, I'm here to do it for you guys. So
Yeah, I want to add to that actually because everyone keeps gassing me up. I swear to God, I didn't have a secret meeting and ask them to do this for me. I want to gas Matthew up real quick, and I'm gonna do this with a gentleman named Cam. Cam, where are you at? Cameron Kaysen. Where are you at? I'm gonna spotlight you. Cam, how many times have you told me and talked and just gooned over Matthew? Tell them about the Morby method close. Tell them about the story.
So Morbies were new to me. And Matt, I felt like sub 2 in general was new to me when I heard Matt's pitch. I was like, oh, this guy knows how to sell. This guy knows how to talk. The stories that he uses while he's pitching, like the idea is crazy. Like I get like you could just tell it's so genuine with Matt because he went through it and he remembers that stuff. And I've literally heard, like, I haven't seen him through the phone, but I can like see them through the phone. Be like, oh wow. So he's literally done this a lot and knows what he's doing. Like, I don't know. It's Matt. I run my acquisition guys. I'm like, you guys got to hear this call. Like, you got to hear how he pitches. He knows everything in and out. I mean, it is just perfect.
If you
I remember calling Bryce being like, dude, where the hell did he come from?
Yeah.
And he comes in and crushes. So I appreciate Matt. I come to him for the tricky stuff and the stuff the Morbies that I'm getting new to, but unreal.
Let me dive into that, guys. Raise your hand. By the way, if you guys don't have your camera on, please turn it on. I want to see you. Raise your hand in person if you guys don't know what a Morby method is. Anyone? We all do? I love it. Okay, a few people do. Long story short, go look it up in the sub 2 vault, go look it up online. It is essentially a seller finance situation where the down payment is very high. So the buyer is actually covering that down payment with some sort of loan, whether it's a DSCR, conventional investor loan, whatever. And then the seller is financing their equity in second position. These kinds of deals specifically, Matthew crushes. If you guys have any of these opportunities where there is a seller finance potentiality and they want a high down payment, and maybe I'll have Matt, elaborate on what potentials look like for Morby methods, he's your guy. The only way Morby methods work is if every party, the seller, the seller's dog, the grandma, I don't care who's a part of the transaction, we need everyone to be cognizant of what's going on, because these deals will fail 9 times out of 10 if you don't have the proper team and understanding. Okay. So Matt does a great job at ensuring we're not just saying, yeah, we're the buyer and we're going to buy it and, we assign it, right? There's a lot of those things in wholesale real estate that we don't do. We're very transparent. Matthew does a good job at that. So if you guys want to make a 40K assignment fee, split it, bring your deals to Matthew and have him run it up, guys. Have him run it up. I want to go ahead and ask another question to everyone. How many of you get nervous talking to people doing lead generation? Raise your hand. No? No one gets nervous? Everyone's just a gangster in here? Okay, that's what I was thinking. Now, how many of you guys are doing your own lead generation right now? Or excuse me, how many of you guys are new? First year in real estate. I'm nervous right now. First year in real estate. Perfect. The next slide is going to be for you. This next slide is for the people who sweat, who maybe they're sweating right now because they're like, oh, Bryce is going to talk to me if I turn my camera on, right? This is going to be for you. I'm going to give this up to Josh, and I know he's sweating bullets right now, but
Bro, my
there's no
palms are
reason.
so sweaty.
There's no reason. Let me gas you up real quick. 6 months ago in October, Josh did not know what EMD stood for. To this day, we've done over 20 deals together, and he's my disposition manager that we're still in the process of scaling, okay? Josh has been crushing it. He's very smart. Don't let being new stop you from kicking ass and doing 20 deals with other people, is the moral of what I'm trying to say. Josh, I'm gonna let you take this away real quick. Let me go ahead and just put Josh on a stage. And Josh, if you get nervous, just remember everyone in here, there's a lot of people, not everyone, but there's a lot of new people in here where your words hold a ton of weight to them without you realizing it. So take it away, man. I'll help you out actually, because I'm
Oh,
going to
thanks,
ask
bro.
some of these questions myself. I haven't gotten a chance to ask you these questions. Tell me what your first month of starting out in real estate was like, and then give a perspective from the dispo side, since that's kind of the water I threw you in.
So honestly, I went from holding conversations with literally nobody except for my my online friends, to Bryce was like, yo, man, time to get serious. Are you ready? I was like, all right, hands up. Yes, let's get going. I got thrown into doing calls, but like for the first 2 weeks, I think having a mentor is extremely important in these kind of situations. Like, I had no idea what I was doing, but I watched Bryce for about a week, 2 weeks, and I was able to learn from his mistakes and learn from his successes, which led me to a lot of confidence when going into those calls. And I think we went from when I was watching you, you closed like 4 deals in that month alone. And then the next month when I hopped on the calls, me calling enabled you to do so many more things that you're talented at. And I think we closed 8 or 9 deals that month alone.
We assigned 9 and freaking 9. We assigned 10, 9 closed out.
Yeah, it's crazy. So honestly, the beginning of it, a lot of it just came down to getting on the calls, going to the trenches, how Bryce likes to say it, making connections with people and learning the process of how the whole system works. I think we went from having like no SOPs, like standard operating procedures, to we have a shit ton now. It's crazy, but it's honestly, it makes the workflow so much easier for everybody to understand. And I think, yeah, honestly, I still have a lot to learn, but the first month was pretty hectic, but seeing how far I came, I think last month, every month since then, I've been telling Bryce about my conversation. I'd be like, yo, man, just had a great conversation. 5 months ago, 4 months ago, wouldn't have been able to do that. And then Bryce would hype me up, be like, yes, sir, clean needs is on me, or something like that. But yeah, I
I'm
think,
all about buying lunch for success.
yep, absolutely. That's what I look for. I think the biggest recommendation, honestly, that I have is finding yourself a solid mentor. Like for me, it was Bryce, and for Bryce, I think it was Pace Morby, probably. He's extremely smart, I'm not gonna gas Bryce up anymore. Love Bryce as a friend. Met him in 2nd or 3rd grade, because of a World of Warcraft shirt. He's been there for me the entire time. Helped me accustom myself to talking to people, and of course, like Tyler Silver said, making money. That's what he's all about. That's all he has in his mind all day, every day. He wakes up 8 a.m. in the morning, money. You can hear the cash when he walks. But yeah, find yourself somebody extremely important that you can learn from. Like a lot of you, it probably pays Morby. Just the guidance makes all the difference. It's honestly game changing.
So what would your biggest recommendation be to someone starting out other than finding a mentor?
If you're not in sub 2, join sub 2, do your research. For me, I like to learn a lot before I get thrown into the trenches. Like me watching Bryce those 2 weeks, I could have started day 1, but I was super nervous about getting rejected. But you're not really getting rejection. Like how they were saying earlier, no just means not yet. So you haven't found what the person is looking for. Um, yeah, I'm not a really good storyteller. I'm not really good at talking to people, but
It's okay. I think that, guys, how great is Josh doing? First of all, for someone who said he was sweaty with his palms, I mean, I think he just gave a crap ton of value right now for exactly his first month and what was expected. How can people connect with you, Josh, and what can they do to make money with you?
uh, it's honestly pretty simple. I'll just post it in chat. You can reach out to me on Facebook. I'm in both the creative finance group and the sub 2 group. My name's Joshua Ducky Cooper. Yes, sir. And my
Trent has a
number,
question for you, by the way. Check chat, Josh.
go for it. What is it?
Trent said, Josh, what was your day-to-day activities to go from 0 to 100?
All right. So my day-to-day activities start the day before to make my life a lot easier. So I run the marketing campaigns. I schedule them for 8 a.m. in the morning. We have super strict SOPs to run marketing campaigns on Facebook and Investor Lift, as well as calling our internal buyer list. We do it at 8 a.m. and then we do it at 5 p.m. So we're hitting both the morning and the night. And then we're calling throughout the day. Like that 8 to 12 is super important to us. And then so is the 5 to 7, because I know a lot of people get off late and they don't check their phones throughout the day for like emails or like, oh, a new deal popped up. Too busy. But that's when we give them a call. So that 8 to 12 is really just getting our deals posted. And, a lot of times people are submitting us deals. So I make the iClouds for them and I just pretty much make all the formatting for everything that we put onto Investor Lift and Facebook and all that. I'm doing the marketing campaigns. And then whenever I have free time, calling the inquiries that we get on Investor Lift, calling people that we see in Artemis mode, calling people that I may have spoken to 20 days ago that said, oh yeah, looking in Florida, only cash deals though. I just got a deal that was cash. I'm sending it to them. And then if they don't like it, it's okay. Send them the buyer form. We run it back again.
I want to rewind that back. You kind of skipped over that. He said the day-to-day activities I'm doing start the night before. Write that down. The money you're making isn't in the day-to-day activities, guys. And I learned this 4 years ago. The money you make isn't in the contracts you sign. The money you make isn't in the conversations you have. The money you make is when you're putting in the work when no one is expecting you to. What are you doing at midnight? What are you doing at 6 a.m.? What are you doing in the shower? Are you rehearsing your pitch? Are you overcoming objections? Are you listening to yourself again? The money you make is in the cave you fear. I think something like that, right? The treasure you seek is in the cave you fear, right? The stuff you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. It's not enough to go try and copy someone by seeing what they do on video. You have to want it. You got to put in the work whenever you're not looking. And that's exactly what Josh is doing to make his days a lot easier. So you did a great job, Josh. I appreciate you talking. I know you didn't want to, but don't you feel a lot better now that you did that and shared value with people?
Yeah, normally when I present things, I like to go in the beginning and you kind of save me for the endish kind of thing. Hated it, but loved it. I'm glad a lot of you took the time to listen to me and came to this meeting that Bryce set up.
Let's go. Does anyone have any questions for Josh real quick before we move to the next slide? Because this is a unique opportunity to really get insight before Josh blows up and becomes a gangster. You get newbie insight before he becomes a master, and then he makes it look easy. You've actually been getting a few questions already. Let me see if we missed any before we move on. By the way, this shirt, Tony wanted me to talk about it. I'll do it again. If you're new, if you're a newbie, buy a shirt like this, go customize it. I cannot tell you, when Giancarlo and I did this, we made shirts together. We went to Bigger Pockets conference. Everyone was looking at us, coming up to us and talking. They didn't even have to read what it said. They just saw a QR code and was like, that is genius. We have gotten so many buyers, personally shook their hands and had them fill out our form, which breaks down their exact buying criteria. There's a lot of people who collect buyers lists and just have name and emails. And then there's people who actually are wearing shirts to go out and get buyers, right? So do the same thing. It's the best way to start doing deals whenever you have no way to generate leads, okay? So AJ, I noticed you guys speaking about finding a mentor. How do you become accepted by a mentor or find the mentor that's a good fit for you? AJ, how do you find a girlfriend? How do you find a boyfriend? You got to go connect with people, figure out if you resonate, if you provide value to them, right? There's a ton of people I hit up and I look stupid. I'm going to be so transparent right now. When I joined Sub 2, I would message people, get left on red, and there's people that I've messaged that you guys know. There's bigger people in there where I just look stupid. I'm trying to find a mentor, trying to learn, and Tyler's kind of going down the path that I'm leaning on. You don't necessarily need a mentor. You need someone you can provide value for. The person you provide value for is going to take care of you. If you find someone who has a working machine, and don't go provide value for the crackhead on the side of the street. Go provide value for someone that has a machine you're interested in, okay? If someone is driving a car that you hate, why would you go talk to that person and say, hey, where'd you get that car? How can I help you clean this car? Go find the cars that are sexy and figure out what those cars need. So that way, you guys get my point, okay? So definitely, mentor. Think of it as who can I provide value for, okay? Kathleen, you have a question for Josh or me or who?
I think Tyler wanted to speak on that a little bit.
I was wondering, Josh, what is your avatar?
Uh, so I was actually, that was one of the first things that he shot me that video and he was like, bro, you have to watch this. This is probably the most important thing in your real estate journey. And I watched it, and I'm always the kind of guy that likes to work under people, like Bryce, especially best friend. I love working under him. Greatest guy ever. I think I'm just right now, the employee avatar. I can't find myself in a better place than working with him. And he's always trying to like expand, make more business, and then make me lead my own team. So I think at some point I'm going to be moving on from avatar or the employee to wherever Bryce is at right now, which is entrepreneur. And then I can hopefully take all the information that I've gotten from him and value that I've learned from him and grow it into something even greater.
I think Josh is similar to me, where he's a mixture of integrator and visionary. I think Josh has that vision and he has visionary aspects and things he wants to do. But what he really also does best is he gets things to happen. If you give him a set of tasks, he's going to do that set of tasks better than you would have been able to do it. He's going to find a more efficient way. So I wouldn't necessarily just say he's a straight up integrator because of that, because he's also talking to buyers and having these conversations and doing things integrators don't typically do. So whenever you guys watch the Avatar series, you'll see like, hey, you got to go down this path or that path. Guys, I'm actually a 60-40 or a 70-30. It was one of those percentages. I took a test. 30 to 40% of what I am is an integrator, which is why I'm very anal about my systems. If you want me to sell your deal, you're going to fill out my form, and I don't care if you don't want to, because I have a system and everything is organized. It's how my team is efficient. It's how we can work and sell the deals the quickest, right? So definitely, whenever you're watching the Avatar series, don't just try to focus on one path, but make that your main goal, right? I'm a wholesaler. I'm a visionary at heart, but I know how to outsource my integrational needs way better now because I'm an integrator myself and I know what I want. So I didn't build my form. I knew what form I wanted and I had someone else build it. So whenever you're watching the Avatar series, try to figure out how many avatars you resonate with and then go take a test. There's a test. You can find links to it somewhere in the Sub 2 community, but just type in avatar test. It'll tell you your exact percentages. So then that way you kind of have some clarity about who you are on the inside. I want to go to the next slide because this is going to be one of my favorite ones. This is the person I gas up all the time, guys. Ella freaking Ray. Every meetup I go to, every buyer I talk to, I'm always talking about Ella. She has done so many things I could not ever imagine myself doing in my life. Transaction coordinators are not escrow officers. They are completely different. You can have a shitty, crappy TC that's cheap and that's just trying to make some money, and they don't know what they're doing. They're just watching some videos from maybe top tier TC and praying because that's what they got sold on. And then there's people who's literally arguing with the owner of title companies, ensuring that they're doing mirror wraps correctly, so we can actually get things closed out. So this next one's for Ella. I call her a gangster all the time. So this is Ella's Gangsta TC time. Ella, hop on up here. Let's get you in the spotlight.
Well, thank you for that lovely introduction, Bryce, and thank you for having me and thinking so much of me and so highly of me to have me here. So it's definitely a pleasure for me to be able to talk to you guys about the importance of having good TCs on your side. And one of the things that, I think Bryce and Jonathan and Claudio and Giancarlo and all of my clients understand and know is that whenever they bring me a deal, they know that I'm like going to go to battle for them. And I will get that deal closed on time pretty much every time. And I will make sure that everybody is on the same page with everything. So, we had those deals. I did the deal on Patton and I did the deal in Clarksville. And those were actually pretty smooth deals. There wasn't really too much going on there, typical deal, making sure that I uncovered anything and everything that I had to. And there was really nothing there. It was pretty clean. I think the biggest conflict in some of those was maybe like getting a divorce decree in time and, getting the ex-wife to sign it on the deed and just small stuff, attitudes with the agent on one of them. But honestly, I think at the end of the day, the most important thing is if you're gonna get out there and do this, and which is great, you really should. You should take that action and you should fail forward, like Matt was saying. But just understand that you don't have the need to have everything together. Like, okay, so what happens after I get the contract signed? Get yourself a TC and you don't need to worry about the rest of it. Because honestly, a TC is going to take care of all of that stuff for you. And if you have a good TC, that's going to be really important. So I think that, you make sure that you get somebody who's going to be on your side and who knows what to look out for, not just somebody who's there who like knows how to push paper, because pushing paper is not what's going to get the job done. Like I could be, saying, okay, well, this form needs to be checked and this needs to be, I don't know, signed or whatever, but I'm not really getting into the weeds of what is going to make or break a deal, right? As a good TC, I'm able to do that. I get settlement statements 9 times out of 10. They are thousands and thousands of dollars off. So if you think my fee is expensive, don't get a TC or get a cheap TC and just spend thousands more on bad deals because you don't understand, what you're really looking for. So I think there's a lot of pitfalls when you don't have a TC. And I don't say that just because I'm a TC and I'm trying to get your business. Quite honestly, my biggest concern and my main priority is to make sure that not just you guys are protected, but everybody is protected. The buyer, the seller, the wholesaler. Like, you don't want somebody coming back to you and being like, well, they didn't give me the right contract and now I want to sue them for X, Y, and Z. Have somebody who understands this stuff, and who better than somebody who does this all the time. I do about 20 to 30 deals a month. And I can tell you, I will look at paperwork and I will go to my wholesalers and I will say, where is this? Where is this? Why is this amount? What's going on here? Did you know about this water softener? Did you know about this judgment? Did you know that the HOA is right now has a lien on the house? Like all of the things that they don't necessarily know to look for when they are doing a deal. So I think it's really important, and I'm more than happy to talk to anybody. Like Bryce knows, he can call me. Giancarlo calls me. Like he has people, they have questions. I'll hop on the phone and I will answer questions for people. So just make sure that if you want to get your first deal, don't worry about what happens after the contract. Just make sure that you have somebody on your side and go out there and crush it. Because I'm pretty sure that once you get a good TC, you're not going to have any problems making sure that your contracts get closed. So those are the things that I think are super important to understand, and don't just think about the price. Because
I want to say something controversial, Ella.
Yeah, go ahead.
First off, do we have any TCs in here? Raise your hand if you're a TC before I hurt anyone's feelings. Anyone? No? No? Okay, cool. If your TC is charging $1,000 to $1,200 or less, run away.
Yeah.
Run away. If you are trying to make an extra $1,000 on your deal by using a shitty TC, you're stupid. There are thousands of dollars on HUDs that buyers have no idea what they are and how to break them off. I'm so sorry, Brittany, if you're charging those amounts, maybe not Brittany. This has been my past experience. If a TC is charging too cheap, you're going to get cheap work. There's a lot of TCs who are new and don't have the experience to be able to look at the variety of HUDs. We do nationwide dispo. How many HUDs look the exact same, Ella? Are they all the same? Or they look
No,
different?
not always, but there are definitely different ones that I have to like be like, oh wait, this is this kind of HUD, so I have to start balancing it this way versus an Alta, right? So you kind of have to know what you're doing. And honestly, I mean, I don't my priority is my clients and my deals, right? So I don't feel bad if I have to hurt somebody's feelings and be like, sorry, but your HUD is wrong. Because that's my job. That's what I'm getting paid for. So you kind of you don't really know unless you see all like them all day every day like I do.
We have I think we have a question for you. Let's go ahead and let's get that going. Brandon, Renew?
It's
No question?
Renault,
Oh,
but
there.
close. Yeah.
There
So
we are. What's up? Is it for Ella? I hope so.
it is for Ella.
Let's go.
So Ella, I'm wondering because I am very new to the whole real estate space. What is a top tier TC? Is that an accreditation?
So a top tier TC is someone who has gone through Molly Tennant's TC program. I was a TC before they had that program, and I joined the program because I started noticing that people wanted somebody who was top tier TC and had like the big yellow badge on their Facebook picture. But it is a program to teach you how to be a TC, but it doesn't really teach you how to get into the weeds and like how to see when problems could be a potential detriment to the deal, right? So there's a lot of pieces that play together. And if this piece is going bad and you know that this piece has now gone sideways and it affects all these 5 pieces over here, you have to be able to see that and be able to address it so that way when it gets to this part, right, that all the pieces fit together. So it's great for teaching you how to do the paperwork. Okay, you can fill out the contract, but can you really understand the nuances and the mechanics behind these deals? Probably not. Are you going to understand how to prioritize, how to be proactive, how to think critically about things? Probably not. And I think that my background is probably what made me so strong in this field is because I spent 20 years as an executive assistant to C-level execs in New York City. So for me, I always had to be 5 steps ahead of my bosses, right? Because that's what they counted on me for. It's the same thing with my clients. My clients pay me to look out for them and their best interests. And that's what I do, and I do it well. And I think and it's something that I enjoy because I am constantly learning. Every deal is different. Every deal has its pitfalls. And I think it makes me a better TC for it, for knowing that when I come across an obstacle, I want to figure out how do I get over this and how do I see this 10 steps before it happens in the future so I can kind of avoid it for everybody, right? So I'm doing all the heavy lifting and all the hard work for everybody else.
Yeah, and I want to point out, I'm going to take you off the spotlight for a second. Guys, I had a deal in South Florida where we really had a tough time with a lady called Ava, name dropping. Do not use my investor's title, whatever. What was the place called, Ella? Investors Loan, Investors Title, something
Something
like
like
that.
that. I
It's
don't
a
remember. I never
chain.
used them again.
It's a chain of some dumb title companies. Don't use them, guys. We had a mirror wrap that we had assigned over. If you guys don't know what a mirror wrap is, this is the document that we use to create an additional mortgage on the property that is from the seller's name to the buyer. So it mirrors their existing loan, allowing them to mitigate their DTI from the new proof of income, and also allowing them to take the home back in case they have a default, okay? If you guys don't know what a mirror wrap is, I'm not gonna go into that now. That's just the way to protect sellers on a sub 2. And with this transaction, the title company was having a very hard time grasping how to do these documents. In fact, it escalated all the way to the point where we have to, yeah, Josh, or excuse me, Ty, I'm gonna shout you out right after this. It escalated to the point though where we actually had to get the owner of the title company on the frickin' phone, who was still perplexed and confused and was kind of giving attitude, if I was gonna say, Ella, towards the both of us. And
Yeah.
she was getting annoyed when I said, let me just merge my TC on the phone. I called Ella and said, Ella, I'm really about to hurt this lady's feelings. I need you to come in here and elaborate better than I can. So it got to the point where the lady was so confused, and Ella made one gangster question. She was like, I just don't understand what protection is in place if the buyer were to default on this deal with the way you have it structured. And she thought and she was silent. She was like, huh. And then Ella's like, I mean, No, sorry. The owner of the title company, word for word, said maybe that's why we're getting a lot of calls from sellers recently. How many deals do you think they did where the buyer bought the deal and defaulted with no way for the seller to get the home back, and now their credit is completely tanked? That happens so commonly. If I go to a Sam's Club, if I'm in Walmart, if I'm anywhere out and about and I see a seller, I never want to have to hide my face. And if I know, or if not even if I don't know, if I'm unsure that there is protection or not for the seller or buyer in the deal, I'm gonna hide my face. I don't want to do that. I want to be able to be like, yo, what's up, Joe? Dude, loved work. How is everything going? Right? I want to make sure that I did a deal correctly. And whatever happens, if the buyer defaults, at least I know that there's protection in place and there's people like Ella working the deal to make sure we're fighting for it. Whereas I've had other TCs I've paid $1,000, $1,200 for. I'm not even lying. They're asking me, hey, Bryce, how do we do this addendum? How do I change this in the contract? What am I paying you for? Right? Those kinds of people, do you think if they're asking me how to do addendum in a contract that I know how to do and they don't, do you think they're going to know how to bat for me and have conversations with people like Ava, saving money on the HUDs and saving sellers in the future? Absolutely not. So if you guys are trying to be cheap to make more money or to save money on buying a deals, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. I'm going to bring Ty up real quick. Ty and I have been discussing a lot of deals recently. The first week after I met Ty, or it was a couple weeks, we did a deal together. So Tyler, I'm gonna bring you up here real quick. Where are you at? Are you still here? Oh, this dude better not have left. He might have left. Tyler is gone. Tyler is gone. We'll hear from Tyler in the next.
I'm here.
He's
You're
here.
here?
What are you
There
talking
you are.
about?
Tyler, there we go. All right.
Yay! How we all doing, man? What a crowd.
I know,
This
right? We got an
is
audience.
this is wild. I'm like, oh my goodness, there's so much positivity here. Just so much good stuff. Learning everything. Yeah, Bryce, I mean, you wanna, I don't know, should I introduce myself or do you kind of want to talk about how we met or like
Yeah, and
that or
introduce yourself. See how we met real quick. Give people 2 minutes of just what you do and
two
dude,
minutes? All
whatever you
right,
want
a
to do.
little smackdown. I was trolling the comments a little. I saw you guys, some of you guys were laughing along. So just keeping some laughter and vibes in there. So
I
anyways,
love
guys,
it.
I'm Tyler. I have done about 300 deals. I originally from New York. I live in Florida. I live like 45 minutes from Bryce. I've done all different kinds of stuff. And man, the one thing I will say, how many people here are like new, new, like that want to make money? Like say that I want to see coolest people.
Tyler, your bandwidth is low. Your internet's hard to hear you. You're muted now. He was just getting to the good stuff too. I felt it. We're waiting for you, Tyler. No worries.
I'm back,
No
I'm back, I'm
worries.
back, I'm back, I'm back, I'm back. Let me put on the Wi-Fi. For some reason, this Wi-Fi, I just moved. So here's the thing, guys. All I was saying is I see a lot of people raising their hand. And as somebody that's done hundreds of deals, I am telling you, I met someone that was trying 4 years to do their first deal. And within like 2 days after talking to Bryce, I got them to do their first deal. Because here's the thing that I've learned just generally about real estate across my journey. And I have done deals from 6-figure months, multiple months, 7-figure years to my biggest assignment fee was $350,000 down here. And I just want you guys to understand, like, I know very little about physical real estate. I I'm more strategic. Now, I've done like acquisitions, dispositions, like and I understand everything that's going on. But what I'm saying is, if you just want to make money, and listen, I get there's the people on here that are crushing. I forgot that first dude in the hat that you said that you never saw on video chat before. He's like, I only focus on acquisitions. What was his name?
Cameron?
Cameron. Was that Cameron? I don't know.
Cameron? Is Matt wearing a helmet? No, hat?
I don't remember. Everyone was crushing it. Everyone's doing all this stuff. John Carlos doesn't even do wholesale. Like, in reality, in basic reality format. I met Bryce because he spoke at an event near me. I've been going there for a few years. Me and Bryce just never connected. All Bryce says is, I'll give you a percentage of deals if you can bring me a deal that is in this criteria. Do you know how easy that is? Do you know how easy that is? You don't even have to know anything. I said, what is the exact criteria? He gives me 2 pieces of criteria. I go to some people that I know, some friends that I know. I say, just find this and put it in the sheet. Find this and put it in the sheet. Find this and put it in the sheet. And what happened 3 weeks later? About
2 weeks. It was like 1 or 2 weeks right after that.
deal was in and we all got paid. If you actually want to make money, don't overcomplicate it. Just find something and put it in the sheet that meets Bryce's criteria. And I already know it. Less than 10% entry and less than 5% interest, right? Yes?
Yep.
Find the deal, put it in the sheet. Don't say anything. Don't ask any more questions. Find the deal. And you know what you could even do? Because you know what I did? I was busy. I said to my friend, hey, dude, find deal, put it in the sheet. He did it, and we split the fee. You don't even have to do it. You could have someone else find someone a deal, put it in the sheet. It's literally that easy if you actually want to make like money. It's forget about complication. I know I'm sure there's a lot of stuff talked about and you can make way more money doing things a lot of different ways. I'm telling you, this is what I've done hundreds of deals. I've done the most complicated deals, working with people at the Brazilian embassy overseas. I totally respect the shit out of Ella for everything that she does on a TC. I know my TC. I've done deals in all different markets. I'm just saying, if you're getting started and you want to make money, you have no excuse than to just find a deal that meets those 2 criteria. Go on the creative. It kills me because I had a little group meeting with Bryce. We recorded it. There's you know what the guy did? He went in the creative finance space mortgage group, scrolled through, and there's one there. There's actually one there right now. It's less than 10% entry. Listen, talk to them. Present Bryce's JV offer. You're just like a JV affiliate of Bryce. A $10,000 deal, you'll make what, like 3 to 5K? It's absolutely insane what he's giving away. And then you can even split that with someone else.
Yeah,
That's
so
what I
I'll
gotta
put some
say.
context on that actually a little bit. Guys, it's not that Tyler did anything either. Tyler, I saw him as I was speaking. He was taking notes when I was going over the criteria. Every one of you is in sub 2. Every one of you knows what Pace says on how to formulate good deals. All I did was go to a place where there's other humans and I told them what made a good sub 2 deal. By the way, Stephanie, I'm not buying deals. I'm wholesaling them. I'm showing them what rates and terms buyers are buying at. And guess what? From me telling 50 humans how to go find, it wasn't even 50, it's probably like 30 to 50, maybe 40. Out of telling those humans, hey, these 2 things make a good sub 2 deal, he wrote it down, told his team. His team found a deal. One person named Will found a deal on Facebook in the creative financing group, the free
But
group
anyone could
everyone's a
deal.
part
People just
of.
weren't doing the work. Just do it. You could literally go into and listen. Part of the work is selling the service of saying, hey, we'll dispo off your deal for 50-50.
Right.
That's
And I
it,
pay
dude.
25% for anyone who brings me a wholesaler who needs a deal.
Are you
Sold.
guys, if you guys can literally make, like me, right? Because you know what Will does now? And if you guys are just starting, just the way that Will did it, I'll do the same thing with anyone else in this group because Will just did it successfully. I'm saying if anyone wants to get started and wants help with that, reach out Ty Silver on Facebook and I'll connect you with Will and do one with him and he'll show you the ropes of exactly how he made money. Like it's not that hard. Like just like how to overcome certain objections and just knock one out as a team with him and then go on to the next one. Like that's what I'm saying. Like if you want to make money in real estate, forget about real estate. Just put the information in the form. To this day, I don't know about physical real estate. All I know is, and I don't know about half the shit you guys are even talking about, to be honest with you. I don't even know any of this shit. You guys are talking so many numbers and it's so complicated for me. All I hear is put what does Bryce want and put it in the sheet. And then I can make 25% of $20,000. Why am I going to make my life more complicated than that?
He
And
basically did what Giancarlo did, guys. I don't think you were here for Giancarlo.
yeah, no, I heard he made 30 grand. He doesn't even
Oh, you
wholesale.
did hear that.
And I'm not saying to do that forever, but then you stack 30 racks, 40 racks, and then what do you go do with that? Then if you want to go treat yourself to have a nice dinner, maybe you don't want to do this with your life. or go build the team and go do that. I've ran it with a whole team in an office. I personally didn't like doing that. You know what I mean? I made money with it all, but I'm saying like I'm just trying to find the easiest way to make money. And what I'm realizing is that Bryce is an effing killer in what he does. So just find deals for the killer, man. Let people do the work. And at the beginning, you do it yourself. Do it yourself. I did probably 200 deals myself before I like really went in there. And if anyone has any questions for me, I'm happy to answer anything. And here's another thing: I know nothing about creative finance, but I've still made money on deals of creative finance. You see what I'm saying? Like,
You
just
don't have to know anything.
yeah, because just like you said, the who you know is just so simple.
Yeah,
You
I
know what I
love that you
mean?
spoke right at this time, because on the next slide is literally about how to find deals. And you just spoke about my first bullet point. I went to a meetup, talked to humans, and you brought me a deal. Oh my gosh, how crazy is that?
I brought Bryce goes 25% to anyone that brings a deal. I'm not gonna curse. I know a ton of people that aren't the greatest at doing deals that are struggling. It really wasn't, but I know people that were like struggling to do deals for years and they just couldn't get their hand around it. So I said, I'll split the thing with you, the 25%, if I'll guide you through on how to put it in the machine.
Just
And
find a
it wasn't a
machine.
big deal. It was like a 5K assignment fee. But still, who cares? It was that guy's first deal. You know what he did? I go on FaceTime and I FaceTime him. I say, guess what? Your deal closed. I'm gonna sell you the money, bro. He started crying. He said, I've been doing this for 4 years. And in 3 weeks I have money in my bank account. I'm like, yeah, dude, just put it in the form. Put it in the
Literally
form.
just scrolling on Facebook. You could be using the bathroom and make 5 grand, guys. I mean, I've done that before, honestly.
And what
It's my
pisses
first
me
one so
off, well, look how many people, there's 40 people in this group. You know what's sad? Is that I was on the Creative Finance Facebook group today, and I saw like 3 opportunities that could have been deals and relationships that could have been built, and people aren't doing it. Like it's not like it's oversaturated. It's not this. It's not that. People will like to do business with people they like to do business with. That's why me and Bryce, we could go hang out, we get lunch together, we like to do stuff together, right? And that's why I support Bryce. So, you know what I mean? Like this is a cool, chill group. Um, it's just an easy way to make money right now. It's and I'll tell you guys something. I'm not going to say this to scare anybody, but when you see everyone making money on, I've been through this cycle since I've been doing this since 2013, 14. So I've been at this for a little while. Is when you see everyone making money so easily, it gets a little scary because shit isn't always this easy. Shit turns. It gets harder to do. People pull back. Like now is the time to just take advantage of everything that's right in front of you. Yeah, the market is full of deals, and it's almost like when I see people making this much money this fast, it's like I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I've had, and just so you know, as far as acquisitions and all that kind of stuff, like what I do now is I kind of like consult in a way. Like I have one company that I have ownership in that I took her. She's going to about 100,000 a month in assignments, and it's just her and one assistant right now. And now I'm gonna help her build the rest of her team out. Now that she's just one texter, and that's it. So I have great recommendations for anyone that wants to do online leads. I have great recommendations for people that need VAs. I have great recommendations for all different sort of things. So if there's anyone that wants any sort of like, I don't do coaching. Like I don't offer coaching. I don't offer mentorship. I don't do anything like that. It's just not my thing. But if there's any way I could help, like I'm just saying like easiest way to make money is to do the least mentally draining tasks, put deals in Bryce's farm and get 3 grand a month.
Tyler, you didn't even mention the big deal. I'm surprised you didn't even go there.
I said it earlier, the 350K assignment.
Oh,
I
you
could talk
did?
about that if people want to hear about that.
You did? Well, we got to wrap up here soon. There's a couple more slides left, and we got to get some Q&As in. But real quick, Tyler, drop your freaking contact information. I want you guys to leverage Tyler because he's one of the more successful people I've seen personally to me in regards to the wholesale. And he does it with ease. He's not in the trenches calling, doing what you guys would think he'd be doing. Actually, you know what? Go ahead.
I'll make it 30
tell the
seconds.
story. Do tell the
Guys,
story.
I
real
was
quick.
I was trained so back like a year or two ago, I said, you know what? Let me try to coach and train some people down here in Florida in this area. There's an agent in my office. He didn't even believe real estate wholesale, you know, the whole legal thing. He got a lead. It was on the and here's the guys. This is break your brain a little bit here. Deal was on the MLS, listed on the MLS for about 10 years. Never sold. 2.6 million, 2.7 million. And I'm very good on the. I mean, I don't do it as much anymore like Bryce, but I'm very good on dispo, and I have very certain set of dispo strategies that I used. And we took this deal that had been listed for 2.7, and this guy wanted 3 million for it. But I knew it was just not positioned right. And there's also a lot of things about there's people who see the value in the right opportunity, timing. There's a lot of things that go into dispo, and people that see value in things. That's why I usually don't even price my deals. We could go into dispo strategies later. We can probably do it. Bryce, you can probably feature me on another call. I can talk about dispo for an hour. But the specific deal, anyways, contracted it at 3 million. Put it out. We actually did have to finally put it for 4.8 million, and it was on that MLS for 2.6 because we knew who we were going for as our buyer. Ended up selling it for 3.35 through an agent that never even saw his buyer. It was this whole thing was very interesting. The agent never met his buyer. The buyer never even saw the property. Yeah, and we at 3.35 million. We paid out the agent 100, and then me and Rodney split like 225,000, and it was his second deal. So, and it was
Second
3
deal,
weeks.
splitting
3
200
weeks.
grand.
3
No,
weeks.
it was a luxury home, I believe, Trenton.
Yeah, it was an Airbnb rental right here in Miramar Beach, and it's funny because the funniest part about it is every other deal that I've ever done before this, I would say 99%. I would say 280 houses I probably never even seen. I don't even know what the fuck. To me it's like spoons or pizza. It doesn't matter what. It's just a box. So this deal was the only one that I probably ever really seen in person. And the contractors walking through, there's like talking about shingles. I'm like, I really don't know about, and they're like, there's shingles on your back. They're like, no, shingles on the roof. Like, I don't even know about real estate to that level of like, you guys don't need to make it that complicated. Like, you could make it really simple if you work with the right people and just hustle. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
probably worked harder to close $500 deals than you did on that 351.
I worked harder to close deals. I made $500. I've done the same thing, but it was just about learning it. And it's also pretty cool, guys, to see the future of this, right? Where once you knock the skill set out, once you get into bigger deals, check this out. You could get ownership and equity in these bigger properties when you do a wholesale. So imagine that. Imagine you spend all this time sourcing a deal, selling off a deal, and it's you make 300 grand, but you could, since there's less of these deals, you could say, hey, I want 10% ownership in this deal. Let's bring in 300K a year. Maybe knock my wholesale fee down to 150. Now you have passive income of 30,000 a year. You own 10% of a $3 million deal, and you made 150 grand. You see, this is all the cool stuff that you get to do once you kind of get in the flow of things. So anyways, I don't know if
No, I
anyone's
love
even
it. I
catching what
love
I'm
that insight
saying.
because it's cool because Ty is basically discussing a deal that is very different, but took less energy than the deals we went over tonight, and it was 1,000% higher of an assignment fee. So I think it's true. Like once you get confident in providing value and knowing how to provide value, you can do it at an easier scale and make more money, and that's when it
Yeah, and
becomes scary.
to wrap up my thoughts is for someone that's been doing this for a while is my biggest barrier took me 4 years to even like really wrap my head around getting my first deal and overcome all this shit and like walking into a home or making the calls. And I just wish I knew what I'm saying now. It's kind of one of those things where you don't need to actually like it's good to know. I'm not saying don't learn. I'm not saying don't, but don't like that. What do they say that people do? They overthink, they analysis paralysis to literally go on creative finance pace mortgage group, put a deal in bright, talk to them, get them to agree to 50-50, put it in the form. Then you know what you get? Passive income. Why? Because if you're the person that they keep coming to put it in the form, now you have passive income every month because that person's going to keep sending you deals to put in the form.
So I want to touch on sourcing deals because he went over the second bullet point real quick, guys. He's essentially going on Facebook. He's not even doing it. He's finding other people to go on Facebook, and you guys can do the same thing even outside of Dispo. Go find someone who's making a post of something they may need. Maybe they need a TC. Maybe they're looking for a virtual assistant. Maybe they're posting a deal and they're trying to sell it, and you can hit them up and say, "Hey, look, we have access to 5 million buyers. Are you open to splitting this?" Or maybe they need a TC and they're like, "Hey, I have a perfect referral for you. Let me connect
Yeah.
you."
And I
Ella would
mean,
be
I have the
happy
deal
to pay
flight
you
training that
something
has
for
all the
that.
direct DTAR and DTS training. If anyone actually really wants to go deep into direct acquisition relations, in 5 months, without even doing creative finance, we did 30 to 40 deals. It was about $400,000 we made with just getting deals from agents and then just selling them to other wholesalers, like sourcing them and moving. That was before I even met Bryce. So if anyone really wants to learn direct, like solid DTAR stuff, DT whatever stuff, I'm here like to support Bryce. Like I'm here to support Bryce. I'm not here to like self promote. I don't really care about Bryce. I don't even like have anything to sell. I'm just here for Bryce, bro. Bryce is my boy. He lives 45 minutes from me. I'll go give him a knucklehead. I can drive up there. I'm just saying, like, I'm here to help him grow. I'm here to help support him. So anything that I'm here for is to help Bryce get more deals. So
Let's do. I want to help you guys get deals. If you guys are wanting to find deals for free, we've went over going to meetups. I think Ty and Giancarlo did a good job showcasing Facebook. There's a new strategy that I've been learning about. I don't use it. I won't use it, but I work with people who do use it. We post a lot of deals on Investor Lift. Okay. There is a heavy market of wholesalers who need help selling non-cash flowing sub two deals. Speed and convenience is king. If you can develop a list of buyers looking for homes in a specific market, you can go on Investor Lift, find nice turnkey sub two deals, and add your fee on top. These homestead buyers are not your typical investor that's online. They're not your typical person in sub two that's on Investor Lift scouring deals. They're people who really can't afford interest rates right now. They're moms and dads, nurses, dentists, all these kinds of individuals who are not on Investor Lift. You go do the dirty work. Go find a nice deal on Investor Lift. I get called all the time from people occasionally who are like, "Hey, I have someone who wants to live in the home you have posted. I'll add my fee on top." And that's their whole business model. So there's no excuse to not being able to go make 10, 20 grand a month. You just got to do the work when no one's expecting you to. Are you compiling a list of agents to call the next morning to try and figure out if they can connect you to any homestead buyers? Are you trying to look at the software the night before on what lead generation systems are going to be able to give you homestead buyers? Are you Googling how can I go find buyers looking for homes? Are you Googling how are agents getting buyer leads? Go figure out how to go find a list of buyers and then go on Investor Lift and add your fee on top. I have plenty of deals we can go JV on. If you guys can find me a homestead buyer, add your fee on top, and I would love that. There's thousands of other people who would love that. So the fourth bullet point I want to allude to right now, because if you do a ton of the meetups, if you're networking in Facebook, if you're talking to people on Investor Lift, you're probably going to do some deals, right? It's going to suck. You're going to be in the trenches. You're going to have to go through the meetups. You're gonna have to go through Facebook. You're gonna have to cold call. You're gonna have to do these things to start doing deals. But that's when you get to the fun stuff. This is when you really start expanding how you do deals based on your networking alone, and you don't have to do the hard stuff. You want to figure out how to provide value to people, obviously, right? For me, when I'm having a conversation with 100 people, I'm basically saying I can sell your deal nationwide, 5 million buyers, right? I'm throwing that in as a conveyance, but that's not the only thing I can add value to. I'm not just saying I can do this, and that. I'm saying, hey, thank gosh for Pace teaching us this. What do you have? What do you need? Right? I'm asking Ty, what is it you're lacking in your business? What is it you're trying to do in your business? Hey, Nancy, what is your goal? Peter, what are you trying to accomplish this year? Randy, what do you want 5 years from now? Claudio, how many deals are you trying to close this month? Right? When I'm connecting with people, it's purely intentional. And once I figure out what they currently have and what they need, I can then think in my brain of who I know that may be able to provide value. Oh, you have a deal under contract and your TC sucks. I can connect you. Matthew, he's not here right now, but the deal we had under contract in escrow right now with the 40,000 assignment fee, guys, I spent less than 5 minutes on that deal. He hit me up saying that he had an agent who needed help with the Morby method. He had it structured and closed. He just didn't want to put it under contract until he knew that he had a buyer. In my head, I'm like, wow, who do I know that buys Morby methods? I go to my go-to guy. He said, I'll sign it tonight. Please tell me it's still there. He wired EMD the next day. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. So when you're networking with people, you don't want to just say, I do this, and you don't want to just tell people you do this and this. because you want to have a numerous amounts of value you can give, but you want to do it like a sniper. You don't want to just shotgun and be like, I hope one of the things I said they need, right? You want to talk to them first. Oh, you're a wholesaler. Well, perfect, man. If you ever need help moving a deal, we have a team, 5 million buyers. And I don't know, would you know anyone who may be looking for virtual assistant services? Because I gauged that person was a wholesaler, I'm now taking the conversation down the value path of wholesale. If they're a transaction coordinator, we're going to be talking about different things and I'm going to be offering different kinds of value. And it's going to take you guys, by going through these trenches of going to meetups and meeting the people, going on Facebook and Investor Lift, to start learning how to provide value, to start learning what value you can provide, right? The other thing I wanted to go over is you got to plant seeds in the rain to eat the fruit in the sun, guys. If you want to be able to be kind of like people are 2 years in, 1 year in, where deals are naturally coming their way, deals are naturally coming my way. I get text messages every single day of people sending us deals. These are all the Zoom registrations, but I get all these messages of people sending me deals from the work I did a year ago, 2 years ago. I'm talking to people. I'm planting seeds with every conversation. There was a meetup I spoke to yesterday. I think I said this in the beginning. I'm going to say it again. There was a meetup I spoke at yesterday. 2 years ago, I spoke to this guy. I think he ignored me. He left me on red. He didn't respond to my voicemails. 2 years later, he's asking me to speak at his mortgage office about sub-2 deals. Okay? I thought I just made a fool of myself. I'm embarrassed. Oh my gosh, all these people are ignoring me. And then 2 years later, I'm eating the fruit in the sun from the days in the rain. Okay? You being on Facebook, you being on Investor Lift, you calling these people, what's going to happen is you're going to have more conversations. So now, because you're doing deals, you're having more conversations, more deals are coming back. Kind of funny how that works. We're on Facebook, we're on Investor Lift, we're in all these places. Let's say I get 3 deals out of it. Well, because of those 3 deals, I'm talking to a variety of people that I've never met before. And because I'm having more conversations, 2 more deals came out of it. You're going to eventually get to a point where your consistent planting of seeds is now a whole farm you don't have to ever plant again. The more seeds you plant, the more deals that's going to come your way without you having to try to do active lead generation. So whenever it's hard, whenever you're in the trenches and people aren't replying to you and you just feel like you're trying to quit and give up, think about 1-2 years from now. Don't think about it in the moment. You really want to make sure that you understand it as a seed you're planting and it's going to pay off in the end as long as you're building relationships and strategically networking. If you're just handing off business cards and praying, hey, please let me know if you need EMD. No, that's not good enough. Sorry. There's too many people that's doing this. There's 15,000 people in the sub-2 community. It's not like it was 4 years ago before I joined where it was 2,000 people. Pace was talking to you guys, holding your hands, and it was very easy to do things. No, you really have to make sure you're actually in it to be in it and you're not trying to get quick cash, okay? Now, whenever you guys are talking to people, a few examples that we went over today, you may know a closer that you can refer someone to, right? Like I did with Matthew to close Cameron's Morby method deal. You may know someone who does dispo like me, where you refer them to me and then I pay you 25%. You may know a gangster like Ella. I don't even care to receive referrals from Ella. I just like having her work on other people's deals. I'm sure Ella might throw you guys a bone if you send someone to her, right? Go find someone that has an operable machine and figure out what oil they use so you can actually get it performing for them and make something out of it, okay? It's an affiliate mindset. Who, not how. Now, I know we went on a super long tangent, so to wrap things up today, if you guys want to partner with us, I'm going to go ahead and go over a few different ways. Obviously, you guys have probably gotten the gist by now. I do disposition. Please leverage my team. We probably pay about $75,000 to $80,000 a year for our overhead to run our 5-person disposition team. Any person you speak to, let them know you have access to 5.7 million buyers. We have a 5-person disposition team. We can sell deals nationwide. I'm going to go ahead and type in a link, or Josh, if you want to go ahead and send the link to our dispo form, you guys have to do nothing but get them open to splitting their deal with us on a JV, and they fill out this link. The first question asks who referred you. If your name pops up under there, you will make 25% of the assignment just for doing that alone. That is the #1 way you can partner with me personally. As far as Matthew, Jonathan, Ella, go connect with them, go shake hands, go strategically network to figure out how many other partnerships you can formulate where it costs you no energy other than connecting the dots whenever the conversation arises. So with that being said, inside of here, not only can you partner with us, we're going to be doing live trainings and coaching. We will be having live calls with sellers, live calls with buyers, Give us a week or two to go ahead and lay out the infrastructure. We're going to have these reoccurring every single week, okay? Josh and I will be doing the disposition Zooms, and we have a lot of killers that we're going to bring in to be doing acquisition Zooms. So definitely stay tuned for that. If you guys want to join the community, it's completely free. You can scan the QR code. It's going to be the first button. It says JV Academy. So while you guys are doing that, I want to go ahead and open up the floor to questions right now. I know it's a little late and we've been going, but I do want to highlight some of these people in here like Ella, Jonathan, Giancarlo, these people, it's not every day you get all this time to ask any questions you want and receive answers from them. So do take advantage of that. I don't even know if you're going to see Ella's face in Facebook a year from now. She just might be in the Hampton Hills and just retired at that point, guys. So while you have these people here, myself, Giancarlo, Jonathan, Ella, all these people in here, go ahead and get your questions out. Think of some things and ask it while you can. I'm rare like a blue steak, baby. That's right. That's right. We had such a turnout tonight. I'm so glad you guys came, by the way. We have this recorded. If you guys want access to the recording, it is going to be inside the community. So make sure you sign up in there if you want to repeat this or watch this on repeat. Giancarlo, Jonathan, Ella, maybe if you guys want to also put your contacts again in the chat right now so people can go ahead and see that as they're scanning the codes and whatnot. And look at Josh already working right now. What are you doing?
Marketing campaigns for tomorrow, of course.
There you go.
I have a question.
Yeah, what's up, man?
First of all, thanks for hosting this Zoom. My name is Jakai. I guess I was invited by Ella. She posted the Zoom information. So shout out to Ella for that. I'm wondering if anybody can give me some insight on, excuse me, opening up the conversation to agents or realtors to try to see if their clients are open to creative offers, I guess.
If agents are open to creative offers, can you rephrase that a little bit?
No, I'm saying if they're how to open up the conversation to agents to see if their clients are open to a creative offer.
Yes, I love this one. So the first thing that I do is I actually would come in like cash, right? You kind of want to dismantle that. I don't know if you're asking me or Ella, but I have a perfect answer. I want to answer first anyway. I always take a look at when they bought the property. If you're talking to an agent, you better have the correct circumstances in place. Either it's low equity or there's some kind of urgent timeline where it makes sense. So before you're pulling your list, make sure it's filtered correctly. Usually you only want to call on properties with 20% or less equity to make sure it makes sense as a sub-2 deal. And most of the time, Jakai, if they are, is it Jakari or Jakai?
Jakai.
Jakai. If it's low equity, when you scroll down to the bottom of Zillow, it's going to show that they recently purchased this property. And what I always like to say to agents is, hey, look, I'm curious. I see that this property was purchased not too long ago. What's the reason for selling this? Is something wrong? And they're, oh no, they're going to tell you about the situation they're in, whatever hard circumstances they have. And then this is the moneymaker. Well, oh, I see that my concern is that my cash offer is going to be lower than what their mortgage balance is, assuming, since this is a recent purchase. Boom. That's when the agent's going to let you know, yeah, it's low equity, they owe this. And that's when you go, I gotcha. We actually did a couple deals last month where the seller was in the exact same situation. All we did was actually, instead of paying off their loan, we took over their mortgage payments and paid the agent commission on their behalf in addition to the closing costs. Is that something that would make sense for your seller? And then you shut up. And they're either going to say yes or they're going to say no and give you objections. And then what did Matthew Starr say? Objections are just opportunities to connect. They're going to say no because, oh no, their credit. Oh no, they need to go buy a new home. Hey, I completely agree. And that is exactly why we have the do on sell addendum and a gangster like Ella. Have you heard of Ella? Have you watched her YouTube video? Man, make jokes about it, Whenever I get objections, I have to take down the wall. I'm not going to overcome the objection. I'm going to make a joke. Like, you haven't heard of Ella? Oh my gosh, I got to buy you a steak so you can just sit down and watch it one night. But anyways, let me catch you up to speed. This is how we overcome that objection. So that's a common concern. And I do the feel, felt, found. I'm letting them know a few of the deals we closed last month, the seller was in the same exact situation. I'm going to say whatever the agent's name is, you want to repeat their name back to them. So Jakai, Josh, Kathleen, when I say that, I bet you their heads turned a little bit. Their eyes opened up a little bit more. Agents, sellers, same way. So whatever the agent's name is, I'm going to say, hey, Ashley, let me tell you this. My seller said the exact same thing. That was actually the exact same situation we went into. Here's how we came around it. So their objection is now being answered. So that's the best way to get agents open to it if they're not already keen to the idea. I know I kind of went on a tangent, but Ella, do you have anything you want to add on to that? Because I know you're really good at talking to agents as well.
So sometimes, yeah, sometimes if a wholesaler comes across an agent who is vaguely interested, they'll get me on there so that I can answer any questions that the agent will have. So typically it's like, well, how's my seller protected? Well, what happens if this and what happens if that? And I'm able to just overcome those objections for them. And I think having the confidence to be able to do that and to be able to speak to them about it, they feel much more comfortable. And they're oftentimes I hear like, wow, a lot of people have pitched this, but nobody has been able to explain, X, Y, and Z. So I think having people like Bryce, like Claudio, like Jonathan, like myself, that you can kind of like go to and be like, hey, I have an agent who might be slightly interested. Can you hop on a call with us? Will help you kind of get it from a maybe to a yes.
Okay, thank you.
Boom. Who else has any questions? Keep in mind, Ella's time, she's probably the most important one here. I'm not even going to lie, guys. So any questions about intricate stuff, she's here. All of us were pretty accessible. Ella is just a star. So any intricate questions, she's here. Any basic questions, we can definitely wrap up after because I know it's getting late. But before I end the Zoom right now, guys, anyone else have anything want to throw in, add, comment, say? No, we're all
If
cool?
anybody needs to get in touch with me, I put my blank card in the chat, so you guys can just reach out to me and connect with me on there. Best way to reach me is probably through DMs or through text, and as soon as I can, I will get back to you. But for the most part, at least you open up that line of communication.
Let's do it. Well, hey, I appreciate everyone attending tonight. I just put my Instagram in the chat. Last chance to scan this QR code to get in. If not, just message me later or someone else that was speaking on here and we'll take care of you. But I'm going to send the recordings out to everyone only if you're in the community because that's where I post all of the content. So if you want access to the recording, hop in, shoot me a message. We'll go ahead and take care of you. But other than that, you guys have a great night. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thank you
night,
so much,
guys. Thank you.
everyone. Thanks, Bryce.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Care everybody.